the Whispering Well. In the heart of the English countryside, nestled among the moors and foggy hedgerows, stood the village of Elderglen. With its moss-covered stone cottages and winding lanes, it was a place out of time, quaint, quiet, and curiously untouched by the modern world. But Elderglen was not without its secrets. Among its oldest was a mossy stone well that stood behind the abandoned chapel on the edge of the woods. The villagers called it the Whispering Well. No one used it for water, and few dared to speak of it. For it was said that if you leaned over the well at midnight and asked it a question, it would whisper the answer, truthfully, yes, but at a price. The tale begins with a girl named Celia Bray, daughter of the village herbalist. Celia had grown up hearing the stories, a boy who asked how he would die, only to vanish in the river 2 days later. A widow who begged the well for news of her missing husband, and screamed at what she heard. Folklore, surely. Or so Celia believed, until the autumn her brother fell ill. His name was Tomas, barely 12, and stricken with a wasting fever no tincture or root could touch. Their mother tried everything, elderflower, foxglove, the old chants passed down from her grandmother, but nothing worked. The doctor from the nearby town had come once and refused to return. In desperation, Celia made her decision. On All Hallows' Eve, under a cold moon and a sky threaded with cloud, Celia crept from her cottage and made her way to the well. The grass was slick with frost, and the chapel's broken windows gaped like missing teeth. The well waited, low and dark, its circular stone rim worn smooth by time. She stood before it, heart pounding. "Please," she whispered, "tell me how to save my brother." The wind died. The night stilled. And from the depths of the well came a voice, dry as old paper. "Take the silver from the roots of the hawthorn tree. Bury it beneath his bed before the next full moon. But mark this, what is taken must be given." Celia gasped and staggered back. She waited, but the voice said no more. Shaken, she returned home. The next morning, she went to the ancient hawthorn that grew on the moor's edge, bent and gnarled like an old crone, and dug beneath it. To her shock, buried in the roots, was a small box, tarnished and sealed with wax. Inside, she found silver coins. Not ordinary coins, but old ones, Roman denarii, Saxon pennies, and one with a serpent coiled around the sun. She hesitated, remembering the voice's warning. But her brother was fading. She buried the coins beneath Tomas's bed, exactly as told. That night, his fever broke. By dawn, he was sitting up, asking for bread and honey. The village hailed it as a miracle. Her mother wept with joy. But Celia remembered the voice's last words, "What is taken must be given." And then the dreams began. She would wake gasping, soaked in sweat, the sound of whispers still clinging to her ears. She saw things in mirrors, reflections that moved on their own. The coins beneath the bed began to tarnish black. And Tomas changed. He was healthy, yes. But his eyes were wrong. Too bright. Too still. He stopped playing with the village children. He stopped laughing. He began waking in the night, staring at the corners of the room. Muttering. One morning, Celia found him crouched beside the hearth, humming a tune she didn't recognize, his hands coated in ash. "We're even now," he said when she touched his shoulder. The price was fair. Celia tried to ask what he meant, but he wouldn't say. Desperate, she returned to the well. "What have you done to him?" she cried into the dark. The whisper came, slower this time. The boy was dying. Another soul waited to live. The shell was empty, we filled it. Terror gripped her. "He's not my brother anymore." The well was silent. That night, she told her mother what she had done. Her mother, who had once whispered charms over sick beds and left offerings for the old spirits, only crossed herself and said nothing. Tomas, or what lived in his skin, continued to thrive. But something ancient stirred in Elderglen. Animals went missing. The church bells rang at odd hours. The birds ceased their songs. And one by one, villagers began having the same dream, a girl with silver eyes, standing by the well, whispering. Then came the storm. Lightning struck the chapel. Fire danced on the roof. The well churned, overflowing with dark water that smelled of iron. And through the roar of the wind, some swore they heard laughter, dry and distant, echoing from below. In the aftermath, the well was sealed with iron bars and stone. A priest came from London and performed rites. The Bray family left Elderglen. But even now, decades later, travelers passing through say they hear whispers behind the chapel. That the grass still won't grow where the well once stood. And sometimes, in the fog, a figure stands by the ruins, a girl with silver eyes. She's waiting, they say. Waiting for someone else to ask the well a question. Because the answers are always true. But the price is always hidden.
If the whispers of this story stirred your curiosity, like and subscribe to Mythos and Murmurs, where every tale hides a secret, and every secret waits to be told.